Lawnmowers Post 1975 YouTuber who's reviewing games, doing Boys Post 1975.
Hey YouTube, Lawnmowers Post 1975. Going to throw a couple of cliches, at you right from the start. Money is not the route to happiness, and money isn't, the answer to all your problems. Now, that said, let me just put sort of the question I want to ask you that is about retro gaming aside and say, as an adult, understanding that the world is sort of a unpleasant place at times, financial security is something that everyone wants. To know that you are future-proof must be an incredible feeling. Now, that's not to say I'm at the breadline, I'm not. But I want to remove that kind of semi-serious sort of adult aspect from this video, because there's a reason I'm going to ask this. Now, someone was talking to me the other day and they were like, dude, your pickups are totally dried up. And I'm like, yeah, life gets in the way, and I had to buy a car, and told him about the whole, sort of cow incident and stuff like that. And he was like, dude, that sucks. Just imagine how great it would be. Yes, it's that question. Just imagine how great it would be if you won the lottery and you could do anything you wanted to. Just think of the stuff you could buy. And initially, it was a flippant comment, but when people ask you this question, every single person, regresses to being a child and just starts drawing up mental lists of things they would buy. Oh, I'd buy a DeLorean, oh, I'd buy an E-Type, oh, I'd buy a sit-down Styles arcade cabinet. If money was no sort of hindrance to how I collect, I buy an EG AES, and we were just reeling off stuff like this. And the more I was speaking and saying this to him, the more I started thinking, you know what? I don't think that having sort of unlimited pockets, being able to splash the cash continuously with sort of no fear of consequence, might not be the blessing that you may or may not think it is. That's why I'm asking this question to a retro collector. Sure, there's a whole ton of stuff I would love to own. The list is massive, and I can honestly say I genuinely would like to be able to just walk around with no sort of worries, or just buy whatever the hell I wanted, just have the best amazing collection ever. But as I said, the more I started thinking about this, the more I started talking about this, there was like a little part at the back of my head just going, I don't think it would be this sort of complete blessing that you think it would be. And by that I mean, I can honestly say the best part for me is getting to experience these games I had when I was a kid, or getting to experience these retro systems, reliving nostalgia from being a childhood, or playing games that I wanted as a child but never got to experience. That is a brilliant thing. However, I can honestly say that the road to getting what I have, and I don't have the best collection ever, not by a long way, but the road to getting what I have has made me appreciate it so much more. I mean, when I set out my plan, or my goal to collect all the games I had when I was a kid, I didn't realise it was going to be this difficult. Again, I'm still after one game, but I'm not prepared to spend 30 to 40 quid on that game. But and I've faced all kinds of sort of inherent problems to being a retro sort of system or game collector. Price being the main one, sort of scarcity, demand, etc., stuff like that. But I've enjoyed it in a weird sort of kind of sick punishment way. Oh, that's really sounding bad. I've enjoyed it. Every sort of problem I've come across in one way or another has made the experience that much more sort of pleasurable to myself. Every time because I don't generally do buy now prices, but every time you get outbid by a quid, because you don't want to do a buy now price, because you don't see why you should pay that extra 10. Every time you get outbid by a quid on eBay, when you do actually finally get it, it's that much more bittersweet. You definitely have a more appreciation for managing to nail that. Sacrifices you make when you have to basically go, right, well, I'm gonna have to sell this or trade this or trade that because I really want this, and I just can't justify spending that much money on that. Didn't it make receiving the product you were after in the end sort of that much more awesome and fun? Another cliche, it's the thrill of the hunt. Getting up early when it's pissing down with rain on a Sunday to drive to a car boot sale, to be sort of the first person there, to make sure that you had a snowball chance in hell of picking up any of these things that everyone else was after. Because make no mistake about it, retro gaming now is it's getting really difficult. People are aware, trawling charity shop after charity shop, going out of your way to other parts of town to just try and nail something. it takes a lot of effort, and I for one love it. I absolutely love it. It may sound like I'm chalking myself up for just, you know, a life of pain, but to me it definitely makes the experience that much better. If you could just get whatever you wanted on a plate, I can honestly say I think at some point it would start to lose some of the attraction or some of the meaning or some of the appreciation we have for doing it the way we do now. Now don't get me wrong, as I said, there are systems I would absolutely love, but, and it's funny, I mean, I remember my gran telling us stories when we were kids and we were going, it's not fair, I want more sweets, I want more sweets, my mum only ever gives me like, you know, 2 bags of sweets a week. And then she'd tell you this brilliant story about she knew someone whose child lived in a sweet shop and their parents would only give her 1 bag of sweets a week, and she didn't like it. And then the one day she managed to sneak into the sweet shop itself when the parents weren't there, and she ate everything in the room. She ended up with a massive bellyache and could never touch a sweet again. And I've never forgotten that story, and it's true. If you could have everything you wanted, wouldn't at some point it lose some of its meaning or some of its attraction? I don't know. Just me. I honestly think that the way we go about things, the difficulties we have to face to track down these things, the fact that we can't afford everything, so when we finally get it, it's that much more of an impact for us, that much more of an enjoyable sort of experience. I honestly think that is at least half of the experience of retro collecting. You know, yeah, I like having this big fat pile of stuff on my shelf, you know, systems down there and systems down there and systems down there because my room is a shit tip. But at the same time, if I could just click my fingers and all that shit appears, then I ain't going to appreciate it. And if you don't appreciate it, or you can just have whatever you want, are you going to play it as much? You know, to track down a game that's taken you 18 months, are you going to sit there and cane the crap out of it and finish it in a day simply because you've been after it for so long? I don't honestly think you are. I don't. I think that to be able to afford anything you want, as I said at the start, don't get me wrong, I would love a sit-down Star Wars arcade cabinet, I really, really would, you know, but to be able to afford anything you want, I think you would definitely be losing one of the greatest sort of aspects of retro, you know, collecting. That it's about getting out there, it's about meeting people, it's about hunting through the wild, it's about getting up early, it's about being ripped off, being stitched up, making it inspire you and drive you on. I mean, one of my sort of favourite memories since I started recollecting retro stuff was the fact that I drove all the way to Swindon and that twat got his mum to answer the door and say, sorry, we can't sell his PC Engine anymore. And I was properly fucking royally pissed. But it was the fact that then a couple of days afterwards one popped up really, really cheap and I bought it. And then a couple of days after that my brother sold me his boxed one, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic because it was just like, yeah, I wasted all that money going to fucking Swindon, but look what happened, you know, karma. Fantastic. Anyway, I'm waffling. What do you think? I honestly think that if you could have anything you want, if money wasn't sort of a problem, ultimately it would detract from the sort of pleasure or the experience of being a true retro system and game collector. Anyway, just my thoughts, and I'd love to know what yours are. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.